I grew up here in Fort Lauderdale, and of course as a kid spent a lot of time at Birch State Park along the beach in Fort Lauderdale, and the one specific thing I think every kid remembers is the train. And as a Cub Scout, we did some campouts there, and remember riding on the train across the Trestle Bridge, so it's a great spot.
But it was when I first started dating my now husband, and meeting his young teenage son, and deciding to learn how to rollerblade. And the place to learn how to rollerblade was Birch State Park. He and I had the most wonderful day there, teaching each other how to rollerblade. So that's one of my happiest memories.
And I've been a user and lover of Birch State Park for many years. Many birthday parties for my children as they were growing up, and now I'm excited to be a supporter of the Seagull Society at Birch State Park.
I'm proud to be a friend of Birch State Park. I recently took a tour of the park, and I am delighted that the park is going to be undergoing some restoration.
It was one of the first things that I saw when I first moved to Fort Lauderdale in 1958.
We're originally from the New York area, and the times that we were at Birch State Park, I always thought someone has gifted this city with their Central Park, because there are areas of it that are very reminiscent of Central Park in miniature.
First time I came to Fort Lauderdale was 1981, and we were heading down Sunrise Boulevard towards the beach, and we ended up making a left-hand turn into the park. And just the memory of driving around and seeing all the foliage, and it was a quiet day, so there was nobody around. It made you realize that you were in a special place, and to this day it holds a very dear place in my heart. And we spend a lot of time there. My kids go there on bikes. They learn how to ride their bikes there because it's not too busy with cars, so it's a great place.
Yes, I do have lots of fond memories. I remember riding my bike through there with my dad, and I had my first kiss in that park.
One of my fondest memories of Birch State Park is when we had our nephew in town, and we took him out on the park to do the Segway tours, and got to show him, he's a young man, 7 years old, how beautiful the park is, and its access to the beach and the Intercoastal were just really special.
Our kids always enjoyed just getting on bikes and going through the park. That Gail has taken on making Birch State Park a place, a destination for those of us who live here all year long, and letting the hoteliers and the tourists know that this is a way to come and see the waterway, to come and picnic. You don't have to go to the beach. You can if you want to, but if you just want to get on your bike and go to the park, it is a wonderful place to be. And we're so excited that Gail is involved in making all of our wishes come true, and in making the park the piece of Fort Lauderdale that it deserves to be.
I have 26 years of wonderful memories. Camp Live Oak, I'm the founder of Camp Live Oak that started in Birch State Park in 1989. And we've had 20,000 children go through Birch State Park over the last 26 years. And so we have a lot of fond memories of great families, old Fort Lauderdale families, and children that have been there. Actually, when I moved to Florida in 1973, I came down from Ohio, and I came down with a group of friends, and interestingly enough, they actually dropped me off in front of Birch State Park. Had a couple $100 in my pocket, and I got a job the next day at Motorola.
We live directly across from the park, and so we look at it every single day. When we get up in the morning, it's there, and it's such a beautiful park to look upon. We've been living across from the park for 15 years, and we've been going to the park probably for about 20 years, would you say? And we've raised our children in the park, and we've done the Segway tours with them. They've been on the playgrounds. We've had picnics there. Birch State Park has just been a part of our family for the last 20 years.
I moved to Fort Lauderdale in 1976, and my family always loved parks. And when we went to the park for the first time, it was such a beautiful experience. And now that we're looking at restoring the park to what it was in the early days,
I think it's wonderful, the work that the Board of Directors and the staff is doing. I think it's so important for all of us as a community to get behind this project.
Well, my children grew up going to the park, so they climbed about every tree. As an adult, I have ridden my bike and I've jogged in the park. I've seen events in the park, and I continue to use it.
I've been going to Birch State Park since I can possibly remember. As a native of Fort Lauderdale, we grew up doing picnics. Anything that we could do. They used to have the little paddle boats, and my dad and mom, you know, we would hang out, we'd go roller skating, and then later on in years we would actually go rollerblading when that was cool.
I grew up in Fort Lauderdale. We moved to Fort Lauderdale when I was 8, and I was part of the Wildwood camp, and we used to go over as kids and canoe and kayak and take the tunnel through to the ocean with my family.
Recently we just went to the Halloween event. It was really fun. We did the spooky hayride, and that was awesome.
We have a 10 and a 9-year-old, and we went and took a Segway tour not too long ago through the park. It was awesome. Places in the park I had never been.
Hugh Taylor Birch deserves to have so much recognition by this community, because without him, to be honest, there probably wouldn't be some natural preserved areas along the beach right now. It takes somebody with that kind of forethought and generosity and caring for a community.
Yes, he's obviously without his work and without the trust, we wouldn't have this green space on the barrier island in Fort Lauderdale in Broward County. And if you stand inside the Sonesta Hotel and look down, you'll realize how big the park is and how awesome it is for us to have that area, that green space preserved. And again, without his work, we wouldn't have that park.
I know he was also someone who was not born here, but came here and fell in love with it and had the foresight to purchase property along this beautiful area that faces the ocean.
You know, we're so lucky that he donated that 180 acres to the state of Florida, and so much land around the area that is now developed was Mr. Birch.
You know, Birch being one of the real founding members of the community, and for him to make such a donation of land and that commitment to future generations is wonderful. And my kids and their kids to be able to share that for generations to come is a wonderful gift.
You know, being a native of Fort Lauderdale, as I said before, the history of our area is just so important, and there are very few people that really created the landscape, and we're just really very fortunate that this man had the foresight to give us this beautiful property to share and not develop on.
No, I really never realized that he had given the Fort Lauderdale beach to the city. And what an amazing gift that was to the city of Fort Lauderdale. When you look at our beach today, that was a gift that is kept on giving for many generations.
I think that his bequest to the city and to the state of this beautiful piece of property right on the ocean is one of the most important things that has ever happened to the city of Fort Lauderdale. And you know, it's a wonderful asset.
You know, it's tremendously important for the reasons that we've talked about, that we have a significant amount of green space in Broward County, but not on the east side. There are a lot of kids growing up on the east side, and you know, the beach is fantastic. Sand and water is excellent, but to have a park that's on the east side that kids can go and play in and also go visit the beach at the same time, it's really a gem, and we're blessed to have it.
It's an oasis in the middle of Fort Lauderdale that people can get away and enjoy what Fort Lauderdale used to look like years ago.
Well, I think it's an island of an area that's separate and hopefully will never be built on, and will allow people to enjoy the beauty of being on the water and grass in a city that's turning into cement.
It's very important. We have an area that is sacrosanct in an area that has grown and developed all over. But here there is this oasis, courtesy of this man's kindness and foresight.
I think parks, and for me, parks and museums are the heartbeat of a city. You need both of them, and I think it's important that we spend time, money, and efforts in revitalizing the park. You need these green spaces. It's just vital.
Well, I think it's a centerpiece of the beach, and it brings in a lot of history and a lot of green space. I've been to tons of birthday parties and picnics, and it's also beautiful when you go by boat on the water. It's pretty to see all the people enjoying the park, and I think it makes our city look beautiful.
I think the park is very important for the growing community. Having access to public space, especially something that is as large as this park is and in proximity to the beach and the intercoastal, is really unique. And having open public space for families and for tourists and for citizens of Fort Lauderdale, I think is really important.
The park is going to continue to grow in importance because when you go other places, there are not that many green spaces. So we really need to embrace Birch State Park and make it our green space in Fort Lauderdale.
It's very important. You know, in our summer camp last year, we had 1,000 children come through the program. And out of the 1,000, 350 came from foreign countries. And so we're an international day camp for children. And kids come from Hong Kong, Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador. They come from all over the world. So that park plays a big part of the economic for the community too, for the economy, and because families stay at hotels on the beach and children get wonderful science lessons, and so it's a big part of helping our community grow.
I think it's really important. If you look at communities like New York City, and you have Central Park that lasts in perpetuity, same type of situation right there on Fort Lauderdale Beach, to have that green space, to have that nod back to the past in the swampy areas and all of that, right there in essentially downtown Fort Lauderdale, right at the beach. It's phenomenal.
But I think the park is pinnacle to an expansion of our tourism industry and perhaps could be the cornerstone of future endeavors.
When I go to New York and I see Central Park, I think that it has nothing on Hugh Taylor Birch State Park, because our park really rocks. It's got the possibilities, the potential for ultimate greatness, and it will happen because this community pulls together, and you know what, they work to make things happen that they have in their vision.
It's extremely important, whether it's for the local people, kids growing up, tourists. It's extremely important. Nice parks, Central Park as an example, can add so much to a city, and this is in such a prime area with water and the foliage. It's a landmark.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's a place for peace, a place to just relax, to see beautiful birds, to watch the manatees in the water. I mean, you don't see that very often. Most people never see that. So when they go to the park, you could take the water taxi, and it's a drop-off point to have a wonderful day with your family or a romantic picnic with your other half. It's nice. It's really nice.
Hi, I'm Gail Butler. I'm the new executive director of the Friends of Birch State Park, and I'm so proud to be a part of that. Tonight we just had a fabulous event. Lots of people were here whose children grew up in the park. I grew up in this park. I was born in Fort Lauderdale. Very near and dear to my heart. We're just hoping we can get folks into the park to have fun and enjoy themselves. And at the same time, we're trying to raise some funds. So if you need to talk to anyone about that, if you want to come for a tour, again, I'm Gail Butler with Hugh Taylor Birch State Park, the Friends Group, and please give me a call. We want to all thank the Huizengas, Marty and Wayne, for having us here tonight. It's the Friends of Birch State Park. Jim Ellis is over there. Jim, get in the picture.
Get over here.
Come on, Jim.
We've all had a wonderful time, Wayne and Marty, at your beautiful home. And it means so much to us. Frank Walker, Bill Walker with the water taxi. Walker
and Walker.
John Bell,
when I heard
my
these
friend.
water taxis were related.
Jim Ellis.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Wayne and Marty. It was very, very
Thank you, Wayne and
special.
Marty.
Thank
Wonderful,
you.
wonderful.
Thank you.